All right, we are here. I'm making sure my microphone works. And with the echo, I'm going to pull that out. Just look at the meter. And I welcome you all to the show. Let's go to our normal background. There we go. My name is Anthony Barocas. Let's go to my titles. And I am here for YOLO Live. And this is the Tech Talk Wednesday show. And I am happy to have you all here. I've got my eye on YouTube right now. Actually, I'll put that on play so I can make sure that we got a good stream going. And I'll scoot that forward all the way to the end. And I want to talk to you about the YoloBox. And today I will be focusing on the multicasting capability in the YoloBox. We have a viewer out there who just came in. Thabo Malepo, I'm going to guess. And you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if I did a decent job on it. I apologize if I didn't. He says he got the original YoloBox, which is still out there on the market. Now, it is not the latest and greatest processor, which is why it doesn't cost as much as the Pro. But for doing what it does a good job. It's got two HDMI inputs, a USB and an HDMI out, Ethernet, one power. It does not do video over USB-C. It does not do remote guests. It does not do green screen. It does not do a whole lot of the advanced features that the Pro does. But not everybody needs those features. That's why there's multiple different devices. Not everybody needs 4 inputs. So that's why there's a Mini, which has 1 HDMI input. So, different devices for different needs. I showed off, I have a video that I linked in the YouTube comments where these are tiny little cell phone stands. And I put them on the back of my original YoloBox because I like to work on an angle. Actually, all the devices here, let me go to my overhead here. Again, I apologize. Audio follow video was on again. I'm going to turn that off. Eventually, they will update that and turn audio follow video off so it doesn't default to on every show. Anyway, so as I was saying, I have my Pro here, and my Pro is sitting on a little stand. The actual device that's sitting that I'm doing the show on is another Pro, and it's sitting on another tilted stand. And as you can see right here, my original YoloBox, which I used until I got the Pro, has these little feet that fold out. I generally use it in fully unfolded. They stick, there's stickers to put them on right here, and then they go out and they stop there. And that's actually a really nice angle to work on. I mean, you could get a bit more tilt if you brought them in like that. Whatever you want. And they fold up pretty discreetly, so it packs in a bag by itself. And the nice thing is there's not another whole structure that I have to deal with in packing. It's just this, and it has the tilt built in. So if you're looking for something really small and compact, you can get those on Amazon or retailer of your choice. Little cell phone. I thank you guys for jumping in there. Let me know I lost sound. Again, that is the audio follow video, which I know YOLO Live is working on, updating so that it defaults to off, and they have asked the user community on Facebook. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, there is a fantastic YOLO Live user group on Facebook that really does there's a lot of people in it to answer questions. There's a lot of involvement from YOLO Live. And one of the most recent things is they have asked end users, well, if we do go to a default to audio follow video is off, how would you like it to work? Would you like it to default to line in? Would you like it to default to HDMI 1 in? What would you, so they're really seeking user feedback. And I find that YOLO Live is very good about that. I say that as an end user in Texas, in the United States, who I produce tutorial content for YOLO Live, but I'm actually not part of the engineering team in China. I am based in essence, Dallas, Texas, or the DFW area. And I am an end user like most of you. So I don't have the ability to walk over to the engineering team and say, hey guys, you really got to do this. They do what they have in their list of things to do, and we will all benefit from the new upgrades and updates that they are bringing to us. Let's go back to the comments. What are those called? They're just little cell phone feet, and I find them very useful. I have not added them to my pros yet because I do them in a different way. Are there any plans for HEVC? H264, well, H265 is HEVC, and SRT support. Are the specs on the new YoloBox Pro Mini look to support both of them? I doubt HEVC. I doubt. I'm going to say I doubt. Again, I'm not part of the engineering team, and the actual video compression is handled by a dedicated video chip, not the CPU. And that's why it's able to do all this green screen and other stuff, because the CPU is handling that while this dedicated video compression chip is handling the compression that gets recorded and streamed to the web. So there's two different things going on. Whether that chip has H265 or HEVC built into it, I don't know. If you actually have the specifications for what chip is being used in this Android tablet, then you would know whether it has that codec possible or whether it's not possible. I'm going to guess no, but again, I'm just an end user. I'm not part of the engineering team with insight into what actually is underneath the hood. Hey, cool, I got it right. Thank you very much for coming back to me. Will the YoloBox Pro get an update for ISO recording? And for those who don't know, ISO is a phrase used in the broadcast realm where every single input is recorded separately. So if I have my Pro and I have a video, 4 different video inputs going into it, I would then have 4 different recordings, probably also in addition to the program and the stream. Now, I'm going to give you my answer. My answer is no. And the reason I feel that the answer to ISO recording is no is because, again, there's that one compression chip, and that one compression chip is sending whatever bit rate you save it as is being sent to the web and also being recorded. And given that we already can't do a higher recording than a lower bitrate stream, given that we can't already do that, I'm going to guess asking the Pro to now do 4 more is very unlikely. That's my take on the answer based on the way it works now. But again, I don't have the insight from the engineering team. Hello from New York City. Thank you, Jules Apatini. Sounds Italian. Hello from France. Oh, Normandy. Thank you. Good to hear you in France. H65. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of confusing. The difference between a 4 and a 5 is a huge difference in what the codec is and what it can do. Whereas other things like the difference between MPEG-2 and MPEG-3 is vast, even though it's the same 1-digit difference. Which power brick do you recommend for the YoloBox Pro? I actually have a video on that. And if you have not been to the YOLO Live Tech page on YouTube, well, you're obviously there now watching, or you're watching the YouTube clip now. But the YOLO Live Tech page on YouTube, which I'm going to try to go to while I'm talking to you, there are over 20, let's go to playlists. And let's go to tips. Let's go to tips. And, oh, well, I don't actually want to play them all. But there is a tip specifically about powering the YoloBox Pro. And I don't have it right here. Give me a second. Can't find it. Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. I normally have this sitting on the table just for the show. I recommended this box, which says it's a 3 amp output charger. This is the US plug, but again, you'll find things like this. The key thing is each of these, of course it's upside down, is, no, wait, I had it right the first time. It's because it's flipped for me, is 3.1 amps. And that's the key thing. You have to have 3 amps or more on that port to run the YoloBox. And if you go to my overhead here, which is right here, you see I have this cable and I have an Instream right here. And the Instream is plugged in with the same white cable. These white cables come with the YoloBox in the box. And then the box that I'm using for the show is plugged in. These are all plugged in while I'm using them, and they're sitting at 100%. And I do that because I need them at the ready. But if I turn these on, I'm providing 3 amps of power over this cable. And this power adapter, which I'm using underneath my production desk, is powering multiple devices. It's probably providing power to both pros at the same time, 3 amps out, multiple cables. So the fact that it's doing multiple devices at 3 amps at the same time makes it a win for me. But it does not have to be this particular adapter. There are plenty out there that will do 3 amps. That's the key thing, not 2.4. And also I have found USB-C to USB-C, excuse me, doesn't seem to negotiate properly sometimes. And also the input is, I mean, it says PD on the top, but I've had some people sit there and say it doesn't properly negotiate the output from a USB-C PD charger. So I have had the best success with a USB-A output of 3 amps, and the 3 green ones on this charger, can't really see the color, but because I'm doing a chroma key, so you can't see green. The 3 top ones that aren't orange are 3 amps, and it just pushes 3 amps. It doesn't even, there's no negotiation, there's no communication, it just pushes 3 amps. What about ISO recording? I answered that one. Good question. I am Hungarian. Awesome. My mistakes. I am not very up on last names and nationalities, but I guessed because of the teeny. I'm half Italian. Here's a question. I connect an Instalink 360 webcam via USB-C to YoloBox. Works great, but eats up the YoloBox battery quickly. Yes, because USB conversion requires more CPU power. So coming in the HDMI, there are dedicated, again, onboard circuits handling that HDMI and bringing it into the CPU. For USB, that just requires the CPU to churn on it, and that requires, draws more battery power. These do have batteries in them. They are great in a pinch. Like the Mini is designed to work like on top of a camera to do a live stream. You can do the recording, you can do the SIM card for streaming or titles and graphics, from the sideline of a sporting event, with your kids. That is a great utility. But obviously the smaller box is going to have a smaller battery. The original YoloBox was designed in 2017. So the hardware that's specified in this is getting a little older in the tooth. If you still use a cell phone from the 2017, more power to you. And the Pro obviously is going to draw more power. It may have a bigger battery, but it also does a lot more. So if you're doing multiple green screens, if you've got pictures and overlays and you've got remote callers, it's doing a lot and it's drawing a lot of power. And that's why the Pro is actually designed with ventilation built in all the way around the back so that it could get rid of the heat that it's going to generate with all this processing. So it will also, if you really start piling on your show, it is also going to use a lot of battery power. And, the faster you eat up the power, the shorter your runtime will be. Where can one find the Android source code for the YoloBox Pro? I'm going to guess at YoloLive headquarters, where they write it. Will more integrated streaming outlets be offered, such as LinkedIn, TikTok, etc.? Funny you mentioned TikTok, because as I showed, it's going to be, again, it's going to be a little hard to get this in here. The Instagram, or the Instream, is their vertical device. Let me turn this on. I think it should be, electricity is at 100%, just like I said. 2, 3. There we go. The Instream is YoloLive's vertical device. And the reason why there's a vertical device and a horizontal device, the YoloBox Pro, YoloBox Mini, etc., is because it's not just about exporting video to that service. It kind of is, but it's also that the device has to be designed to work in a vertical mode. You can't just, if you do vertical on a horizontal screen, you're wasting the sides. If you design vertical, and here we go, now that I have it up, you can see this is the vertical interface. If I want to do audio, it's designed vertically so that I have all my audio inputs in a vertical space. If I want to do titles, the titles are designed with less horizontal space. They're designed for a vertical environment with more pixels that go up and down. I mean, it all comes down to the fact that, you're now doing 1900 pixels tall as opposed to 1080 pixels tall. So the entire app has to be redesigned for a vertical aspect as opposed to a horizontal aspect. And this is my, what is that? That's my main camera. Oh, am I using this one? Yes, I'm using, and I've got a webcam over here that you can see, and that webcam is rotated sideways. And it understands that this video is coming in horizontally, and then in here you can rotate 90 degrees, and then you can crop it to fit the screen. Scale it down, put it on me, say done. Oops, I forgot one step. Let me delete that. Done. Let me go back, crop it, scale it down, put it on me, say fit to screen, say done. And now I have a vertical slice of my horizontal video in the Instream. And that's why you're not going to see TikTok on the YoloBox, because TikTok and Instagram are vertical delivery, whereas YouTube, which does have vertical, you already see Facebook on this device. You already see Facebook over here, and that is because Facebook, I mean, even the brightness display, the whole interface is designed vertically. Facebook does have Reels, so those Reels are vertical, and now you see Facebook on here. It's likely I say as an end user, you will see YouTube added over here as well for the vertical delivery. But again, this is just a vertical tool versus the YoloBox, which is a horizontal tool. And let's keep going. Standalone battery power. Any battery bank that has a 3 amp output would probably suffice. And then again, YoloLive provides the A to C cable. So as long as you have a battery bank that has a 3 amp or more USB-A port, that will power the YoloBox series of devices. Can I HDMI out on the YoloBox to a splitter 1x2 so I can display two 55-inch screens at events? Absolutely. It's standard HDMI out. And it's standard HDMI in. That's why if you see on my devices, you go over top again, that my main camera right here you see is coming into my main YoloBox. But then if I also go into monitor mode on this device, you'll see it's over here, it's here, and it's on my main device. I'm going in through a splitter to come into here as well. So splitters work with HDMI out and splitters work with HDMI in to get your signals wherever you gotta go. Again, you understand that this one output will be split to however many outputs you want, but I believe that is actually what you're looking to do. And so absolutely, you can take your HDMI out, put it through a splitter, and feed as many devices as you want. And guys, you are bringing back the old way of configuring streaming platforms. You'll have to, that's a question better asked in the user group. I am not part of the engineering team again. I'm an end user in Texas. So I see the integration with YoloCast, and in many cases, a lot of the things that are in YoloCast are being given to YoloBox users for free at this point. Bonding is currently free. Web graphics is currently free. The advanced streaming protocol is currently free, and more destinations is currently free. And while I understand YoloCast has paid tiers, they're also integrating a lot of the very useful features, whether they just be for the beta period. Other things like the web graphics have been offered to YoloBox users for probably over a year now, and that has been free the entire time. So you can still, initiate a stream on the YoloBox the way you did it before. So you're not forced to use YoloCast. The way I am doing this stream right now, I did it without YoloCast. I just initiated a stream. So let's look at my Pro right here, and I'm in monitor mode. So I'm going to exit this, and yes, you can use YoloCast, but you could just also create a live stream. So I'm going to create a new live stream. I'm going to call it GGG. Done. Create, and open it, and now I'm in my live stream. And then what platforms I want to go, there they are, and I am free to send things wherever I want to go. So if I want to send it to my public YouTube, done. If I want to send it to my Facebook account, oh, okay, I'm still in single mode. Just come over here, and you say streaming mode is multi, done. And then you come back over here to my outputs, and then I say here, public, do it. And then I say Twitch, do it. So that is how it used to work, and that is how it still works. So I'm unclear on what exactly is not working. And that is actually one of the things that we're talking about today is multicasting, which is all of this stuff over here. All of this stuff is multicasting. So the ability to send one stream to multiple platforms on, that is what you can do right here. So, I'm actually going to do this live for you. Let me go back into this, and I'm just going to make this unlisted because this is not really going to be a stream that I want to have everybody watching. And then I'm going to turn on my Facebook, and I will send it to a group. And I have a Scratchpad group that I do for test streams because I do a lot of testing. Rule 1, test. Test your stream, test it again. Test it on location, test it off location, test every camera, test every piece of gear, test it. And if you're going to be doing a long stream, set up your gear, have it run overnight, test. Okay, so I've got 3 streams, and then I say, go live. Are you ready? Yes. And that is sending one stream. Actually, I forgot to set the stream setting, so I don't know. It's probably going to default to 3, I believe. And 3050 at 29 frames per second. I've been live for 15 seconds, and it says live, and Facebook says ready, which basically probably means that it's waiting for me. There it goes. Now it's live. And sometimes if your Facebook is not set up for it, your Facebook channel may be set up to accept the feed to an event, but then you have to go live on Facebook. You can have it set to go automatically, or wait until someone who has access to the Facebook page says, I see the signal coming in, now I'll let it go live. And I recently did a stream for a client who They set up the Facebook event. They gave me the RTMP codes. I put them into my encoder. We initiated the stream and it did not go live. And the reason it did not go live is because Facebook required a description. It had a title, it had an event, everything was done, but they didn't actually put anything in the description. And Facebook required a description. And without a description, it would not allow the stream to go live. Whereas when you went to the page, you could see the video coming in. My streaming part was working. It was that whoever configured the event did not see the little required note next to the description, and they just left it blank. And by leaving it blank, Facebook would not allow that stream to go live. That's Facebook. They seem to find one way or another to make it as hard as possible to do live streaming. Marceli, hi from Poland. Thank you for Poland. I'm the other half. I'm half Lithuanian. I'm half Lithuanian, half Italian. So hello to Poland. Can you confirm if YouTube Super Chats can be displayed on screen while streaming? I've heard they do not. I cannot confirm that. I have not used Super Chats. I don't know. I stream to the YOLO Live account for these live shows. I don't know if they have Super Chats set up. So I cannot definitively answer that. If you do post in the Facebook Live group, or I'm sorry, the Facebook YOLO Live user group, I'm certain that there are probably many other people who are using Super Chats who could answer that question. And it may work out that you can stream to Super Chats, but you may not get the comments, or there's other issues around that. Again, if you have support issues, you can email support directly at yololive.com. That's the direct channel to support. Whereas the user group, they will see it. But it's more for having this discussion with fellow end users. And then also, as always, you're watching the YOLO Live Tech channel on YouTube. There's dozens and dozens of great tutorials, not just mine. There's a whole series of tutorials on YOLOcast, and these are all available on the YouTube channel. Subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be notified when we do our live shows like this one. Let me go back to comments, and I appreciate you all for tuning in here today. And let's see, it's coming out 50 frames a second versus 60, or some other scan rate issue, but it should definitely work with a splitter. Hello from Monterey. Is it possible to change the battery after some years if it dies? Thanks. And this may be in response to a post that I made this morning that I have a battery. Actually, I have two batteries for my, I'm actually gonna do this live. Let me go get one. I have two batteries for my digital camera, and I wrote to the company. You'll probably know it. These are Wasabi batteries. You can't see the logo because the logo is green, and I'm doing a green screen, but you can read Wasabi. These are batteries for my digital camera, but the problem is that once I put them in, they're really, really hard to get out because they have swelled. And they swell so much I can spin them like that. And so it's actually concave. It's concave enough. You probably can't really see it, but these batteries are now tops, and I cannot use them in the camera because at some point I want to get them out of the camera, and that's really, really hard without beating the camera up. Just try and get this thing to slide out. So I've stopped using these. I've ordered new ones, and the fact is that all batteries die after being used over and over and over again. And me leaving these plugged into the charger is probably not the best way to do it, but that's the way I am doing it. And unfortunately, these devices, like most consumer electronics these days, like my toothbrush, my cell phone, my tablet, my Surface, my laptop, none of them have user replaceable batteries. The laptop I'm using to show you the the website is actually one that, you know, I can't remember the last laptop I've had that you could change the batteries in without having to completely rip it apart. And unfortunately, these are not user replaceable parts. People have disassembled their devices because technically they're still good. That's if you want to do it. And you're not going to have a battery issue until probably well after the warranty has expired on these devices. So then they're yours to do with what you want anyway. There's no warranty. People have said that they have found replacement original YoloBox batteries on AliExpress. And if you can do that, that's up to you. You know, I could do the same thing for my Braun toothbrush, you know, find user replaceable batteries. I could do the same thing for my laptop. And it's, if you choose to do that, you can do that. If you choose not to do that, you can use the external battery or the external power route, so that as long as the device has power, it should work regardless of the battery inside. In one of your videos, you talked about a way in the YoloBox of creating a cropped source of an HDMI input. I can't find the video where you explain how to do it. That's actually a fantastic feature in the YoloBox. What we're going to do is I'm going to do this on the Pro, and I'm going to do this right here. The crop feature is a Pro feature right now, but given that the Pro and the Mini have the same processor, I expect it will come to the Mini in due time, but it's not on the Mini just yet. Let's go to the screen directly, and we're going to push that little icon where the little play and icon, right? Actually, I'm going to use the right here, this icon right here. I'm going to press that, and on the Pro, you can see where it says chroma keying up here, and it also over there says cropping. So we're going to click on cropping, and then you see this cropping window. This is exactly what I did on the Instream viewer vertical. This one says 9:16, and then you can size it, but why you would want to do that in a horizontal video device, I don't know, but whatever. You could also customize it and do various, length and width to your, pleasing. You can then, square. You could do a square. Let's move that up a little bit. You just grab the thing on the screen and move it around. Here, I'll just show you. I'm grabbing my finger. I'm just moving it around like this, so it's easy to reposition. And I'm going to make it widescreen, but I'm going to make it close shot. And then right here, I'm going to say fit to screen. So I'm cropping it, but I'm going to say take this thing and make this full frame. That's what this does. And then I say done. Save it as a new or edit the original video. Now I want to keep my original shot, but I also want this new shot. Save as new. Now for the show, what I found is, interestingly enough, I can now change the background in the original one and put a background on there, done. And the crop does not take the change. The crop remains what it was before. It knows that I did green screen. It knows that, but it doesn't get the replacement. So let me delete this. Done. Let me go back into here, go back in the cropping, crop my frame, fill the frame, done. Save as new. Now I've got the background. But again, once it has that background edit, it's not going to update the background. Done. Done. So oddly enough, I can be widescreen with a blue background and then cut to a close-up with a pink background, which I actually used to my benefit today, because one of the ways that you get a still image in the show is I created a picture-in-picture with the slide for today's show, and I used the still as my background. And I'm using a crop, but a full frame crop of the same camera as my main background. I mean, I could have done it the other way. Do the still, do the crop of that, and then replace the main one with my background. But either or, they're interchangeable sources. So that is how it's working for me. Alejandro. Yes. Creating a cropped image of an HDMI input. That's what I just did. He's asking, I mean, creating a cropped image of an HDMI input. I did that. It says, but you need to configure streaming services through the web and not direct. I don't know what you mean by not being able to do the streaming services directly, because I did them here and I signed on to each of those services on this device. I guess like with initial things, you do need to, like, you say connect my YouTube account, and then you're going to have to do something on a computer and verify that this is allowed to, stream to it. And then with Facebook, I want to connect this to my Facebook account. Yes, there's things that have to happen outside of the YoloBox, but once you get the YoloBox authorized, and this goes for the original YoloBox and the mini and anything, once you get them authorized, once you get your account authorized with your YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, whatever, then they're just going to use the built-in API and make that connection without using a computer to do your streaming. And as you can see, I have been streaming for 13 minutes to these 3 destinations, but I'm still only sending 3 megabits. And when I say multicasting, this stream is going to the YOLO Live server, and at the server, it's being split out to 3 different services. So even though I'm sending to 3 services, my bit rate is 3 megabits. Technically, each one of these should be 3 megabits. So it should be 3, 6, 9, plus a little bit. So this should be 10 megabit stream, but it's not. It's only a 3 megabit stream because YOLO Live is providing this multicast service. And it is only 3. So if I wanted to do a manual RTMP to a second YouTube channel, I would have to turn off one of the other ones. So I would turn off Twitch and go live to YouTube RTMP or LinkedIn or Twitter or anything else, really. You could do RTMP that way and send it out to a third destination. But still, you're benefiting from the fact that you're only sending this one data rate, 3 megabits, whether it be cellular, Wi-Fi, as is here, because I have no Ethernet plugged in, or whether you're doing Ethernet. That one stream is being sent out, split in the cloud, and then goes out to all your destinations. And that is built into the original YoloBox, the YoloBox Pro, the YoloBox Mini, all of them, except for the Instream. The Instream does not do multicasting like this. Let's go to our next question. Can YoloBox Pro make internet bonding in Europe? I expect that may be in the works. Again, it's only a beta in the United States, and bonding is an expensive proposition. Because what bonding is it's actually 2 pieces. You have to have both halves or you don't have bonding. If you pay for bonding and you just buy a device and it says this device has bonding, but you're not paying for a service at the other end, you probably 99% sure you don't really have bonding. Bonding requires this stream to go into here, and then it's sliced up. And each of those slices is given a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And those slices go out in different directions. This one goes over Wi-Fi, this one goes over the cable, this one goes over cellular, Wi-Fi, cable, cellular, Wi-Fi, and they get sent out like that. And each of those pathways is different. So they will arrive out of order. They're going to arrive out of order. They have to, because no 2 packets going 2 completely different pathways. One took the long road, one took the shortcut. So they will arrive, and then there's another server that has this connection to your device, and it knows to expect these packets, and it gets them, and it puts them back into order. It has to put 1, 2, 3. Okay, here's 3, 4, 4, waiting for 5. 5, 6, 7, and it puts them back into order so that now your video is straight again. bonding has to happen at both sides. And that server and that processing and that capability at the receiving end costs money and has to be set up. So I assume, again, as an end user who creates videos for YOLO Live in America, that process is in the works. It just takes time and money to make happen. And that's why bonding will eventually be part of the paid service, because if you need extra servers to do your stuff, then you need to pay for those servers to do your stuff. And that's why generally bonding, whether it be a live view or a Teradek or some other thing, has a paid service to do the debonding at the other end. Can you just add another streaming platform directly from the device? Add another. I usually, if it's not included as an API, and API is something like YouTube provides an API that's included in here. So when there's a YouTube button, YouTube provides an API, Facebook provides an API, Instagram provides an API that's built into it. If you're saying, can you include an API for LinkedIn? I don't know if LinkedIn has an API. And if they do, YOLO Live would have to build it into the framework of the application. So it's not something you as an end user can just be like, oh, let me just go and stick this API into. I mean, it's a programming thing. So no, I don't think you could just add APIs to the device. But if you wanted to stream to something that did not have an API, at this point in time, every receiving streaming service handles RTMP or RTMP-S. And the YOLO Live streams to RTMP or RTMP-S, and you could have multiple RTMP destinations, whether you're doing it on the YoloBox or you use the YoloCast servers. You can send to multiple. You don't even have to use YoloCast. YoloCast is a separate service. You could have your YoloBox and send it to Restream or Caster or whatever. And they can send to multiple destinations there. Again, making use of the fact that you're sending a small single stream as opposed to trying to send multiple streams. If the battery is swollen, get rid of them fast. Well, at least don't keep using it. And that is a challenge when you have a device with a swollen battery where you can't get the battery out, which is, like the YoloBox, almost every single piece of consumer electronics these days. My cell phone does not have a user replaceable battery. Other devices I have do not have. My tablet does not have a user replaceable battery. My Kindle does not have a user replaceable battery. My laptop does not have a user. None of them. So if they start to swell up, there's nothing I can really do about it aside from take out a screwdriver and a hammer and start ripping the device apart. And that's a shame. There's a movement for user repairability, and I am all in favor of that. I much preferred when phones had user replaceable batteries. I did it several times. I've had to take my cell phone, my Samsung, I've had to take to them to get the battery replaced. My iPhone, I've had to take to them to get the battery replaced, and I've paid for it. I would much rather do it myself. I would much rather buy a battery online and do it myself. But that's not where we are right now, unfortunately. And it's not a YOLO Live thing. That's probably also some rule within the manufacturing, in that they don't want you to go find knockoff battery for $5 from corner battery store, stick it in there, and then all of a sudden it fries your whole device, and you have no recourse, because or you have, it's not able to actually deliver the full rate of power. So then your device is always underpowered and not performing well. And then you blame the device. You don't know that the battery is doing the problem. How soon until we see the YoloBox Pro 2 that includes 4K for the first HDMI? That would be interesting. Because with the crop feature, having at least one 4K input would allow me to have an interview and pull a window from here and pull a window from here and cut between this shot and this shot and this shot and have 3 different camera angles from one 4K input. I have done this on devices that do 4K, switchers that have 4K. I have done this and it works out really, really well. So how long? I don't know. If I were a guessing person, and again, as an end user in America who makes videos for YOLO Live, I would actually guess maybe this year. Maybe. That's my guess. Don't hold me to it. Thanks for... Sutka says, thanks so much for the cropping demo. Really appreciate it. Happy to help. Hope you find it useful. I do. It's been a great feature. And like even in this show, I've used the cropping demo to basically duplicate my main input and have one with the different background. So I have two still backgrounds from the one camera input, and I'm able to switch between them. So that was really cool. The new YoloCast overlays that are added, such as credits to score and time to live options, is there any way to save those overlays to the SD and then export them into YoloBox? I guess into another YoloBox. Kind of no, but kind of yes. Because, let me go to my overhead again. I'm going to have to exit the show. So you've seen me demo this for now 22 minutes. I'm going to stop my live stream on the demo YoloBox. You see these little color things on here. I tried some colored tape because I've got dozens of cables up here. I've got green, blue, brown, purple, red, white, yellow, and they help me keep track of things, but my first attempt was with masking tape, and it's not working out as good as I thought. So anyway, I'm going to stop this stream. Do you want to pause, or we're going to end? Boop, 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 boop. And now this show is ending. There it is, ended. Let me go back into my awesome event here. Can I go back in? No, that's finished. But you can duplicate. Let's go GGGHHH. Done. Done. And while we're doing that, I am booting up another device. And I open this up. And I go into my graphics. I don't have any overlays. So I'm going to create a lower third. I'm just going to do that one. I'm not really going to do anything with these. I'm just going to create a bunch really fast. Done. Plus social overlay for Facebook. Done. And plus do an image overlay. Well, image overlay will depend upon the SD card that's in the other device. So I'm not going to do that. Plus a title. Do that one. Done. Now this is my HHH show. Is this dead? This is probably dead. That's why I won't start up. Yeah. Battery's dead. So let's do this. We'll charge this up. And we'll go to the OG. We'll boot up the OG. There we go. And while that's booting up, I've created a show here. I've got these two pictures in pictures. And I've got these 4 overlays over here. And I've got a countdown timer. I've got this. Actually, I'm going to edit this one a little bit just to bring this down here. And I say done. And I'm going to edit this one. I'm going to make this. I'm going to put this way at the top. I'm going to say done. And my Facebook. There's my Facebook username. Now, the interesting thing is, remember, when you have a show, and this is a streaming event, okay? So I can still come in here in a streaming event, and I can sit here and say my encoding is going to be all the way up at 8 megabits. That's the max supported for streaming. Come out of here, and then we're going to exit the show. Done. And then I'm trying to get it to update on the original. Let's see if I can get this one up and running. Nope, still says I get a charge. So we're going to wait on that. But the thing is, these events get shared between devices. So as you can see, I've got Awesome Event 2, Awesome Event 4. Well, here's Awesome Event 4, Awesome Event 2. So these events get shared between devices, so that if I created graphics in Awesome Event 3, here's Awesome Event 3 on my other device. So those titles and graphics that I created in these, you can't have the same show open on 2 different devices. That doesn't work. But that is how you don't have to put your graphics and overlay on an SD card. the YOLO Live Cloud provides that connectivity between your devices automatically. The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't move your media. So if you have videos you're playing back and things like that, you need to physically have that duplicated on an SD card on the two devices. So that you need to move on the SD cards, but everything else is going to move auto-magically. YoloBox porting in 5 guests. I imagine just a matter of time until YoloBox releases an iOS or Android app where you can show more live stream video inputs, etc. I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. I do not think there's going to be an iOS or an Android app companion for the YoloBox, because the key thing with the YoloBox is the fact that it is a tight integration of software and hardware. YOLO Live controls the entire operating system on this tablet. YOLO Live controls the hardware that's built into this tablet. So like Apple, why does the Apple Pen work better than a third-party pen? Well, because Apple's got doing some little magic secret sauce communication between their pen and the tablet that, the other people aren't able to use. Well, YOLO Live can also do some special sauce between the hardware and the software and the tablet and all woven together. And that way, I don't see them utilizing third-party hardware like an iPad to do anything other than what you could do through the YoloCast website, which could be like web graphics and things like that. But again, that's coming through their own back channel into the device. So again, you could administer it through a tablet or a separate computer, but it's still leveraging their own special sauce back end. Ultimately relies on one of your inputs. Bonding ultimately relies on one of your inputs. I have an LTE amplifier at home that connects to an ISP. It's plugged into the modem and has my antenna sticking out the window. Yes, my speed improves. True bonding doesn't care. True bonding, if you've used a Live View or a Teradek Video Go or things like that, and you've seen it connect to multiple services. I actually have a Kilo View here, and it has 2 SIM cards. It has 2 plug-in things, so I could plug in an Ethernet cable right into here. So now I've got Ethernet, SIM card, Wi-Fi, and all of those are going to be used at the same time. And if you look at the dashboard, it should show you what service is, how much data is being sent over what service. And generally it's always balanced unless there's a problem with a service and that service is not able to get as high bandwidth as the other ones, then it's going to lean on the other ones more heavily. And that's what bonding is supposed to do, so that if I'm streaming like this and all of a sudden my Ethernet goes dead because somebody in the back room hit a preset and like cut me off, I'm still going to be able to stream because I still got my Wi-Fi and I still got my cellular. And it's just, then it's going to lean heavier and you'll actually see the data rate on those services go up. That's what bonding does. And a multi-WAN router is going to lean on one connection until there's an issue with that connection, and then it'll split. Or it could use multiple connections for different services. So it could be doing voice over IP for telephones, office telephones over one connection, and it could be using a second one for web browsing and a third one for video streaming. It could be doing that. That's called load balancing, but that's not bonding. I'm just asking about demo how you can add another streaming platform, just if you can add another YouTube account. Yes, you can add another YouTube account through RTMP. I purchased the Allstate insurance policy, standard warranty for YoloBox Pro. If anything happens, it's ultimately covered. That's a way to do it too. You get it insured, and if it then becomes unusable through failure of the battery itself over the course of time, I don't know how long those insurance policies last. I have seen them advertised every time I buy something on Amazon. Would you like a 3-year, program? Sure, insure it for 3 years. Or if you get it through Costco, Costco will always double the warranty period of a product. Although I don't think you can get a YoloBox on Costco, they will double the warranty period. And so your 1-year warranty becomes 2, or you buy the 3-year plan. Now you're dealing with a third-party service, but if they offer full replacement and you're 2.5 years in and the battery starts to swell up and you don't want to chance it and you don't want to risk shoving more power into this battery, which is now clearly nearing the end of its life in terms of usage cycles. And honestly, they all get that way. I've got a bunch of Wasabi batteries that are all end of life. It's not a YoloBox thing. It's a lithium battery thing. It's a battery thing, you know. And I'm also replacing the lead acid batteries in 2 of my UPSs. Why? Because they go dead in 10 seconds. Why? Because the batteries go dead. That's what they do. They go dead. And they have to be replaced. And so buying the warranty policy is probably good insurance. We need a live ticker added once and for all on YoloBox. And it was likely a video file needing to be implemented. A live ticker. They do have that live scroll across the bottom, and it used to be only as wide as the screen, and then it would just go across. Now it can be longer. The text can extend like 3 times, you know, as wide as the screen and go across. There's that, but me personally, I wish there were more font choices. Just, you know, like if you actually want a certain look to it, you really don't have much in the way of font choices. There's, you know, there's like your standard, there's a couple tilted, you know, there's nothing, you know, I don't know. It's just me. I used to be in desktop design. Using a USB keyboard on YoloBox unleashes more functionality. Well, you can certainly type faster on it, because I did notice in creating streams that I cannot do swipe. I call it swipe, but you know, you cannot drag your finger around on the screen and to type words, and you cannot dictate to it because there's no microphone built into this tablet. That would certainly make those long descriptions a bit easier to do if you could just sit here and just like, you know, this is going to be a show where we talk about this, that, and the other, and we love to see you during the show. Wow, if I could type that fast on a touchscreen, that'd be amazing. Well, we have used up, how much did we have? 57 minutes. We have used up 57 minutes of time. I hope the demos that I have done of cropping, a little bit of green screen between the devices, I hope these demos have been helpful to you. I appreciate you all joining me and chiming in with your live questions, because that's the point of having these live shows, is to be here live with you, as opposed to, you know, the normal asynchronous where you post something and you're going to have to wait an hour or so till somebody gets back to it. At least now we've got 20 people watching, so this is pretty awesome. I do appreciate you all being here. If you joined us late, hey, let me know where you're from, because we got like a little post show where I can put up, you know, comments and things like that. And sign in to go live. Well, apparently I'm not signed in on the mini, so I still can't do it. Once again, let me go through my graphics here. My name is Anthony Barocas. I am here for YoloLive. I'm an independent end user of the YoloBox or the YoloLive family of products. In Texas, you'll find many of my tutorials on the YoloLive Tech YouTube page. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe, hit the bell, do all those fun things. Because in addition to my nearly 24 videos on there, there are a host of fantastic videos telling you all about YoloCast. And there are more videos coming about all the different ways that you could leverage this technology, user stories, and more. If you have not already joined, please join the official YoloLive user group on Facebook. It is a very active user group with direct involvement from the YoloLive team. We're currently talking about audio follow video, and a bunch of us have been asking for it to default to off, because like in this show, early in the show, it bit me in the butt. And I switched to a different input, and then my audio went off because that's not where my audio was coming from. So we want it to be off, so that once we start a show, it's always in the same place and we're used to it. And the YoloLive team have reached out to end users and say, well, if we do this, How would you like it to work? Do you want it to default to the line input? Do you want it to default to the first thing you plug in? Do you want it to default to just always HDMI? They've asked users for input, and there's not a lot of companies that when they're going to make software changes and updates to your products, they sit there and say, well, what would you like it to be? So that's one of the reasons I really love the YoloLive team. And lastly, if you are having a serious technical issue, support@yololive.com is the direct line to their support team. They have been very responsive in my understanding for those things that they can be very responsive on. You know, when people sit there and say, I wanted to do this new feature, I want H265. That's not an overnight thing. That's not, oh yeah, just push this toggle. You know, they could do that if you've got toggle, you know, things that are like, oh yeah, it actually does do this, but you just have to do this other thing, you know, but not everything is that simple. And there are many things that take a bit of time for a bug fix to be made, just like the audio follow video that I have been waiting on. Let's just see. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see. Marcelli says, thanks, Anthony. Thank you, Marcelli. We've got Toronto, Canada in there. And we got Florida. Nice sunny Florida. Actually, it's going to be almost as warm in Texas today. It's going to be like 85 degrees. Arizona. Probably warmer in Arizona. I never dreamt the YoloBox when I bought it in 2020 would evolve into the device it is today. It is amazing. When they introduced the remote guest feature, that was amazing. And then they added instant replay. That was pretty darn incredible for the people that are doing sports. And when they made originally, you know, when I first did a review of this a couple years ago, the YoloBox, it said it had an audio mixer, but it really only selected between multiple inputs, which is technically what the original YoloBox still does. You can select an input, and when you change inputs, that's why audio follow video is good, because it will follow what you're selecting, or you can turn it off. But the YoloBox Pro and the YoloBox Mini and the Instream are all actual real audio mixers, meaning you can have multiple inputs with audio coming in at the same time. You can set those levels independently. If it's a line input, you can even add delay to it, and you can mix those audio channels in the devices, and that was added, you know, per user request. And that is just one of the really nice features of the YoloBox and the YoloLive team, in that they listen to the end users and they are striving to make these products as much as possible what the users are asking for. So again, to get involved in the Facebook group and, you know, reach out, talk to other people, have feature requests if you have them, and if you're having issues, you can reach out to the support team. This thing says I've been live for 1 hour and 17 minutes, so I believe that is kind of going to wrap it up for me today. Again, I appreciate you all being here. My name is Anthony Barocas for YoloLive, and I always say thanks for watching.